everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of the introduction videos to my Bookish World Cup, where I'm going to be going through all of the books I'm reading in the World Cup tournament, and just explaining what book is representing what country and which ones are going up against each other. I'm doing this at the end of August and I'm hoping to read most of these, maybe all of them, in September. There is 16, so it's gonna act as well as my September TBR. I don't really make TBRs, but it's gonna be my September TBR. So yeah, if you want to check out the sort of the rules and how these books came to represent the countries that they are, and how this whole Bookish World Cup tournament is gonna pan out, check the first video, which is up there in the playlist. But without further ado, let's get into the first pairing. So we have All Days Are Night by Peter Stamm. This is representing Switzerland, translated by the German by Michael Hoffman. This follows the main character of Gillian, who seems to have it all. She's beautiful, successful, and has securely married. But one night after an argument with her husband, they have a car crash and Gillian wakes up in the hospital. She is a widow with a ruined face who must now revisit the past in order to make sense of her altered existence and begin to glimpse the freedom that might come with her loss. So, yep, that is Switzerland's entry. Let's see how you're going to fare against the World Cup winners, Spain, in Dogs of Summer by Andrea Abreu. This is translated from Spanish by Julia Sanchez. This is I'm just going to read you the back, basically. This says, we are stuck in the worst working class neighborhood high up among Tenerife's volcanoes. A 10-year-old girl dreams of hitching a ride to the faraway beach. Instead, she hangs out with her best friend Izora. She likes everything about Izora, from the colour of her arms and her hair and her eyes to the way she writes the letter G with a huge tail. But she envies her too, envies her grits and her gut, her periods and her pubes, the way she is growing up at her full tilt without her. As the summer goes on and the heat becomes ever more oppressive, friendship simmers into obsession, desire into intimate violence. So yeah, that sounds intriguing. So that's the first matchup. Then we have match day 2. We have Japan's entry, Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa, translated from Japanese by Eric Ozawa. This says it is hidden in Jimbo Ocho. Tokyo is a book lover's paradise. On a quiet corner in an old wooden building lies a shop filled with hundreds of second-hand books. Sounds lovely. 25-year-old Takako has never liked reading. Although the Morisaki bookshop has been in her family for 3 generations, it is the pride and joy of her uncle Satoru, who has devoted his life to the bookshop since his wife Momoko left him 5 years earlier. When Takako's boyfriend reveals he's marrying someone else, she reluctantly accepts her eccentric uncle's offer to live rent-free in the tiny room above the shop. Hoping to nurse her broken heart in peace, Takako is surprised to encounter new worlds within the stacks of books lining the Morisaki bookshop. As summer fades into autumn, Satoru and Takako discover they have more in common than they first thought. The Morisaki bookshop has something to teach them both about life, love, and the healing power of books. I just think that sounds so adorable, so I cannot wait to get stuck into Japanese one. And that is going up against Norway's entry, Alice at the Fire by John Foss. This is translated from Norwegian by Damien Searles. This says, in her old house by the fjord, Signy lies on a bench and sees a vision of herself as she was more than 20 years earlier, standing by the window waiting for her husband Azel on that terrible late November day when he took his rowboat out into the water and never returned. Her memories widen to include their whole life together and beyond, the bonds of family and the battle with implacable nature stretching back over 5 generations to Azel's great-great-grandfather Alice. In John Foss's vivid hallucinatory prose, all these moments in time inhabit the same space, and the ghosts of the past collide with those who still live on. Alice at the Fire is a visionary masterpiece, a haunting exploration of love and loss that ranks among the greatest meditations on marriage and human fate. So yeah, that sounds very interesting. Wow, I'm already out of breath. I've already read 4 book ones. Now we've got Match Day 3, Discomfort of Evening by Marieke Lucas Rijneveld. This is representing the Netherlands, and this is translated from the Dutch by Michelle Hutchinson. This follows 10-year-old Jas has a unique way of experiencing her universe. The feeling of udder ointment on her skin as protection against harsh farmyard winters. The texture of green warts like capers on migrating toads. The sound of bush worlds that aren't in the Bible, but when a tragic accident ruptures the family, her curiosity warps into a wild vortex of disturbing fantasies, unlocking a darkness that threatens to derail them all. Winner of the International Booker Prize 2020, Rijneveld's sensational debut novel is a world of language unlike any other, exquisitely captured in Michelle Hutchinson's translation. So yeah, this one, I was kind of wishing the other one won the Dutch spin, but I am gonna push that thought aside, go in with an open mind and see how the Netherlands fares. And the Netherlands are going up against South Africa with The Promise by Damon Galgut. I am so excited for this. But that's what that thought leaving my mind. I'm going in blind. The Promise charts the crash and burn of a white South African family living on a farm outside Pretoria. The Swarts are gathering for Ma's funeral. The younger generation, Anton and Amor, detest everything the family stand for, not least a failed promise to the black woman who has worked for them her whole life. After years of service, Salome was promised her own house, her own land, yet somehow as each decade passes, that promise remains unfulfilled. The narrator's eye shifts and blinks, moving fluidly between characters flying into their dreams, deliciously lethal in its observation, and as the country moves from old deep divisions to its new so-called fairer society, the lost promise of more than just one family hovers behind the novel's title. In the story of diminished family, sharp and tender emotional truths hit home. Confident, deft and quietly powerful, The Promise is literary fiction at its finest. So yeah, I'm so excited. Now we have the two that I think are like the two longest pairings, I believe, and these two, when it was announced, I was like, this is gonna be like not the books, the actual football match. I was like, this is gonna be a battle, because we have Sweden and USA, and they are like giants in the women's football game. But first of all, we have Frederick Bachmann's My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies, translated from the Swedish by Henning Ko, I believe. This one says, to most people, 7-year-old Elsa's granny is eccentric, if not crazy. To Elsa, she's a superhero, one with a superpower like no other, storytelling. When Granny leaves Elsa a mysterious series of letters apologising to those she has wronged, her stories come to life in ways Elsa could never have imagined, sending her on a breathtaking adventure of her own. ... So yeah. Can't wait for that. That sounds so good. And then we have the USA's entry. We have The Pool Takes the Form of a Mortal Gal by Andre Lawler. This says it's 1993, and Paul Polydoros tends bar at the only gay club in a university town, thrumming with politics and partying. But Paul's also got a secret. He's a shapeshifter. He transforms his body and his gender at will in search for belonging and love that travels across America from Iowa City to San Francisco. Paul Takes the Form of a Mortal Girl is an exhilarating, razor-sharp, queer coming-of-age story from heroine winds his way through a world gutted by loss in the wake of AIDS, pulsing with music and opening it into an array of intimate connections. Andre Lawler has written an instant cult classic. I cannot wait. I feel like these two, this is gonna be a matchup like that Sweden USA game was. So yeah. Now we have England, but I'm gonna be unbiased because I have to be. But we have Little Boxes by Cecilia Knapp. This, I cannot wait. Unbiased. It's not because she's English, it's because this book just sounds so good. But this says, after Matthew's grandfather dies suddenly, 4 friends struggle to face the trauma of their past in the wake of this fresh tragedy. Leah and Jay, a couple since their school days, find their relationship tested, while Nathan deals with a vast and unrequited love, and Matthew grapples with his sexuality. In the days that follow, Matthew begins to unearth his grandfather's past. He finds a different life, full of secrets, and discovers that he and his grandfather may have had more in common than he once thought. Little Boxes is a coming-of-age story about friendships and love, loss and survival. Cannot wait. There is something about this author that I'm going to say when I get to the reading vlog, but she has a connection to a book that moved me so much. So, but yeah, that can wait till that video, and you have to wait till that as well. And that is going up against the Nigerian entry, which is The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Dara. And this says, as the third wife in a small Nigerian village, 14-year-old Aduni is expected to fade into silence, but Aduni will not keep quiet. She's smart, funny and curious, with an infectiously joyful spirit, and despite adversity awaiting her at every turn, she's set on getting an education no matter the cost. Determined not to settle for her fate, Aduni embarks on a journey from her village to the wealthy enclaves of Lagos, a journey that will change her life and, if you listen closely, possibly yours. That sounds so good. Oh my god, I cannot wait to read this. I cannot wait. I love books about like women and girls, like, you know, just fighting for things. Yeah. And now we've got 2 short ones, which is going to be nice. First of all, we've got the Australian entry, which the author is Australian, but this could possibly maybe been the Japanese one because it's set in Japan, but that's what the wheel shows. But we've got Cold Enough for Snow by Jessica I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. But this says, a mother and daughter travel from abroad to meet in Tokyo. They walk along the canals through the autumn evenings, escape the typhoon rains, share meals in small cafes and restaurants, and visit galleries to see some of the city's most radical modern art. All the while, they talk about the weather, horoscopes, clothes and objects, about family, distance and memory. But uncertainties abound. Who is really speaking here? Is it only the daughter? And what is the real reason behind the elliptical, perhaps even spectral journey? Once a careful reckoning and an elegy, cold enough for snow, questions whether any of us speak a common language, which dimensions can contain love, and what claim we have to truly know another's inner world. So yeah, I don't know what it's really trying to say. Might be a bit of big brain energy, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready for you, Australia. I'm ready for you, Australia. And that is going up against the Danish entry, which is My Mother Says by Stein Pilgaard. This is translated from Danish by Hunter Simpson. It's quite a long thing, but I'm going to read it to you. The narrator's long-term girlfriend has just broken things off, forcing her to move back in with her father, a Pink Floyd-loving priest. While she desperately tries to convince her girlfriend to reconsider, the rest of the world bombards her with advice, from her childhood friend Moore to her kindly therapist to her overbearing mother and card-playing father. Bumbling through the fog of disillusionment, the narrator gives herself permission to grieve, philosophise and be generally outrageous, until at last she sees the light at the end of the tunnel. My Mother Says is a compendium of conversations between people who talk past one another in the universe of misplaced good intentions. In this whirlwind of memories, confessions, temper tantrums and declarations of love, Pilgaard's sheer affection for her characters turn the pain of a broken heart into a heartwarming comedy of errors. That sounds quite interesting. And yeah, I don't think I've read any queer Scandinavian fiction yet, so excited. Two more battles left, matches. First of all, we have the Colombian entry. We have Chronicle of a Death Foretold by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This is translated from the Spanish by Gregory Rabassa. This says, Santiago Nassar is brutally murdered by two brothers in a small town. All the townspeople knew it was going to happen, including the victim, but nobody did anything to prevent the killing. 27 years later, a man arrives in town to try and piece together the truth from the contradictory testimonies of the townsfolk, to at last understand what happened to Santiago and why. ... So yeah, that's quite interesting. It's quite different as well, because most of these are sort of like literary, but this is more sort of like a mystery in a sense, and to sort of understand like why. Also, he has written a lot of books, and this is, I think, the shortest one. So I didn't want to like go in the deep end with Marquez. I thought I've had this for quite a while now, and I'm excited to read this to then see about reading some of his other ones if I enjoy this. So yeah, and Colombia is going up against Jamaica, and oh my god, I love the Jamaican team in the World Cup. Oh my god, I cannot wait to start watching Tottenham Hotspurs in the WSL. Oh my god, Spence and Spencer, you two on the Jamaican team was so good. But anyway, we have A Million Aunties by Elisa Mackenzie. This was, yeah, I love the science. What does family mean to you? Seeking solitude after a personal tragedy upends his world. Artist Chris travels to his mother's homeland, Jamaica, in a bid to find peace. He expects to spend his time painting alone, coming to terms with his loss and the fractured relationship with his father. Instead, he discovers a new extended family, a community of his very own. Can they help him to become whole again? I don't know, I just think this just sounds so nice. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it's going to be a very heartwarming, but like sad, but like also like a very nice book as well. And we've got a final match, and I think this one is probably going to be a contender for a very good one, because I do love me some French fiction, and we have come in strong with actually 2 French books, but the first is The Lover, representing France, by Marguerite Duras, translated from French by Barbara Bray. This says, Saigon, 1930s, a poor French girl meets the elegant son of a wealthy Chinese family. Soon they are lovers, locked into a private world of passion and intensity that defies all the conventions of their society. A sensational international bestseller and winner of France's coveted Prix Goncourt, The Lover is disturbing, erotic and masterly. This is an unforgettable portrayal of the incandescent relationship between the lovers and of the hate that slowly tears the girl's family apart. Once again, that sounds sort of heartbreaking, but yeah, I feel like there's just something about French writers when they write about like a doomed love, that there was just something about that is just gonna get me. And but we will see. And finally, that is going up against the Moroccan entry. I was like, Morocco going through was so good. Oh my god, yeah. We have got The Godmother by Hannah Kaya. This is translated from French as well, by Stephanie Smee. This says, for 20, meet Patient Portifo. 53 years old, widowed mother of 2, fluent Arabic speaker, upstanding French citizen, and soon to become the godmother. For 25 years, she has told honestly, translating police wiretaps of North African drug gangs. She knows she's just a foot soldier in a senseless politician's war against high-grade hashish, a tiny cog in the state machinery of racism and repression, but it's always paid the bills until now. The scrimping French state pays its translators off the books, meaning there'll be no pension to reward her long years of service. With her mother's extortionate care home eating her savings, a lonely and impoverished old age lies ahead. So when Patience gets the chance to take possession of a vast stash of top quality Moroccan Kardala, she doesn't hesitate long. Exit the grey-suited civil servant, enter the godmother. Her life will never be the same again. Yeah, that sounds so interesting. And yeah, hopefully it's like a little bit funny and a little bit like talks about like topics as well. So that I think is going to be a good pairing. So yeah, that is the TBR, and we will see what who wins and how the competition progresses. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, morning, wherever you are in the world, and I shall see you very soon for a reading vlog of Switzerland versus Spain, and yeah, bye.